Okay, hi guys. Today, what I'm going to do is quite simply, I'm going to live record some interviews, and I'm talking, this is 6 hours worth of interviewing I'm doing back to back of 30-minute interviews. I'll share top parts of that with you so you can see how I interview, what I do, and also as well, hopefully it's going to help you learn about maybe the process that we go through in the VA Academy, but maybe if you're looking to hire, maybe some questions that I ask and how I structure my interviews. And hopefully it's going to help you in your Amazon business. Stay tuned. Okay, so today I am basically going to record a series of videos of me doing interviews, live interviews of candidates who have applied for sourcing roles as part of the VA Academy. Now, we have quite a good process down. We have a really good track record of finding good candidates. And one of the things we do kind of before this, they get to this stage, is we ask them to apply and we ask them to complete a test. Now, the reason why we do this is basically we want to know, are they able to do the job? And once they get to do the job, i.e. they score well in our test, then we want to know, are they the right kind of person we want to hire? Are they going to be right for our clients? And then finally, we want to know, is the job going to be right for them? So today, during these interviews, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to be having the interview with the candidate. You're going to watch that. I'll trim out a couple of points or maybe hide some information that might be a bit sensitive, but then you'll be able to see a quick summary of my thoughts afterwards, which is going to give you a bit of an insight into a very quick, and I mean a very quick rough analysis of these candidates that I'm interviewing. Now, if I put it in perspective, these videos, these interviews, they have been recorded literally in a 6-hour window. I have done back-to-back 30-minute interviews, non-stop, no breaks, nothing. One interview, next interview, next interview, next interview, next interview, and I've recorded them all for you now and done a quick summary afterwards. And I do this every single week with all of my clients who are looking to hire a VA from the Fast Track FBA Academy. And this is the real value that I can bring to the hiring process. You know, we are looking for the right candidates. Once we get the right candidate, we can then train them and they're going to deliver. But the first things first is get the right candidate. And this is where I add real value in finding who I like and, hey, who maybe might be good, but just not right. So we'll talk through that process now, and hopefully you're going to learn something from these interviews. Let's get started. First things first, I can hear and see you fine, that's cool. Okay, so first things first, thank you very much for applying for the role and taking the test. That's really good. What I want to do today is just go through a little bit about you, who you are and what you've done in your experience. And then also as well, tell you a little bit about the role, the job, and answer. And if you've got any questions, you can ask me at the end, or you can ask me throughout. It's a very relaxed, casual interview, just really getting to know you as a person. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Brilliant. And any questions you want to ask me straight away before we start?
I don't. Maybe later. I'll just think of it.
Cool, no problem. Okay, so look, first things first, I've got a copy of your CV, and thank you for sending that over. I'd probably just say, tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
I've been working as a graphic designer for 6 years and also a VA. And I started being a graphic designer when I was in high school and started to learn some photo manipulation by watching YouTube videos. Then I realized I can make money by doing what I love. So I started freelancing when I was in college to support my needs. And I was a virtual assistant in designing vinyls and managing the shop in the website called Etsy. And then after I graduated, my first job wasn't a graphic designer, but as a content moderator for a social media. My work there is I moderate reported contents from users in the United States. And then after a year and a half, I realized that I'm not happy with my work there because of the environment. And plus, it's not healthy for me because the environment in Manila is really worse. Plus the traffic is really worse every day. So I live in a province in Bulacan, so my traveling time every day is like 6 hours total. So I plan to just work at home, and a few weeks I bought my own PC using my last salary, then started searching for a job to gain experience and to have a nice portfolio. So I volunteered to this org for raising awareness through music because the owner said I can use it as my starting portfolio, and I'm also happy to help people. And then after a month, I got an offer in a US company to work with known doctors, creating hundreds of infographics for their website. Then my second job was a graphic designer, creating ads for social media. And then my third job was a virtual assistant and a graphic designer for a Kickstarter company. Yeah, I think that's it.
So is it a Kickstarter company or is it Kickstarter themselves? Your last one?
Kickstarter company. It's like they're like a partner, but the website is Kickstarter. My boss is posting some stuffs there.
And if I clarify, my understanding, Kickstarter is the crowdfunding website
Yes.
that does. So you're working for them, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Are you still working for them now?
No, I ended up last month.
And why did you finish?
End of contract.
How long was your contract?
8 months, I think.
Why did they not extend?
I got no work for like 2 weeks, so they need to cost cutting, I guess.
Okay. And do you pay per hour or fixed amount? How did it work?
Fixed amount for a month.
And then before that, why did you leave there?
End of contract also.
Let me just ask you this question: what job are you applying for right now?
As a Amazon researcher.
Okay. And your history is graphic design?
Yes, but I also have an experience as a Amazon. I used to freelance as a VA in Amazon. So I started making photos into a lifestyle, something like that.
And when did you do that?
I'm sorry?
When did you do that?
I think last year.
What company?
Last year. They don't have a company, but my boss is a seller in Amazon.
Okay. And okay, but then obviously you're doing the graphic design side of Amazon. You're not doing the sourcing side.
Yes.
And I just want to be really crystal clear. The job you're applying for isn't graphic design. It has no graphic design elements of it. It's got nothing to do with graphic design. Like, you'll never use any of the same tools other than maybe like Chrome and maybe Google Docs. That's about it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I think that before I applied, but I think I can do the job with some proper training. I'm also a fast learner, so I think I can do the job of a Amazon researcher.
Okay. Good question for you. Where do you see the future? What do you want to do in the future?
Being a supervisor in a company.
Doing what kind of company?
Company that is stable and will be in a long run.
And why did you get into graphic design?
I really like graphic design since I was in high school because my father had a business in a printing company. I mean, printing business, not a company. So we design T-shirts.
So here's a question, the $1 million question. Why do you want to get out of graphic design?
I think that's a hard question. Okay. I think being a BA, I also had experience as a virtual assistant, so I'm very happy. I'm very also happy with this position that because being a graphic designer is like you're very confused every day to the task, and it's not like the same process every day. So when it comes to this kind of work, I like a work that even if it's so many, but the process is still the same.
Okay.
That's what I like doing.
So just clarify for me. You're doing, like, say for example, in graphic design, if you're doing, I don't know, promotional material, online promotional material, you like doing. Are you telling me that while each promotional material is different, it is still just promotional material, and you quite enjoy that, or you quite enjoy the difference? What do you enjoy about it?
I enjoy about working like that on the Amazon. It's like the I'm learning and becoming becoming master to that kind of work every day. I see my improvement, and even if it's too many job for a day, the process is still the same.
Okay.
So I'm planning to just freelance my design because I can earn high in the weekends by doing freelance as a designer.
Okay. So, and if I just clarify, if you're successful, what you're planning to do is currently work. So, like my job during the week, and then weekends do graphic design. So you can have a good mix of both. Does that sound about right? Cool. Okay. And a quick question for you. I hire you. Fantastic. You're now working for me. Great. And you're doing work on the weekends, graphic design. Great. I wonder if graphic design really kicks off and you've got quite a lot of work to do, and actually it's starting to eat into your week. You've now got to do it during the week. I wonder if you're getting more graphic design work. Then what?
I'm not that kind of person. So when I'm doing freelance, I don't get a client that is very bossy. So I do have my own rules when it comes to freelance. So I will prioritize your work first, and that's the most important. And then it's like design, like it's my hobby. So anytime I can do my freelance.
A quick question: why are you looking for a job?
I'm looking for a job because I need I need money.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, quick question for you: when I'm going to pay you, I don't know, 25,000 pesos a month, and then some other company comes along and says, I want to pay you 36,000 pesos a month. I don't believe you would prioritize my work over theirs because they're going to pay you more than I am, and you are ultimately looking for money.
No, I will prioritize you, sir.
Why?
I need a stable company. Even if someone offer me 40K, but in 6 months, I will still choose the one company that is being loyal to me and will give me a long run.
Okay, cool. Any questions you want to ask me?
Do you have is the test you gave on the website is that the actual work, or will you add? Is that the okay? Do you think I can do that work without experience?
Well, we would train you, but the fact that you are here with me right now having an interview shows that the test results are good enough that we're happy to take you to this stage.
Okay. And I think I am very confident I can do the work. Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
I'm very focused into this kind of work, so I'm willing to learn, sir.
Okay. Any other questions you want to ask me?
That will be all, sir.
Cool. Okay. I've got a couple more interviews today, but what I will say is I will have a think over the weekend and I'll get back to you Monday, Tuesday next week, whether you are successful or not. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Right. Well, look, thank you so much for your time. Really good to speak with you. And I'll be in contact next week.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
You too.
Interesting interview, and I've seen it before. So I loaded up his CV and straight away full of graphic design, and I'm literally sitting there going, why does this guy want to be an Amazon like product sourcer? We have nothing to do with graphic design. Obviously, he scored well enough that we got him into the test. We got him into the interview because the test was really good. And don't get me wrong, like I have interviewed and I've actually hired graphic designers before for Amazon roles because the graphics design market is changing. It's becoming more and more competitive. It's bottoming out. People are undercutting, and it's harder and harder to make a living because it is very contractual. It's very couple of month contracts and then go. There's no stability. When you've got bills to pay, that's a problem. So, and hey, look, I just had a conversation with him. His last client was who is it? It's Kickstarter. So he worked for the Kickstarter. Like if you're in the e-commerce world or the kind of internet world, you probably have heard of Kickstarter. He worked for them for a 6-month contract, earning more money than I'm going to offer him, and he doesn't seem to have any problem getting work. Yeah, he's looking for stability, but he said it to himself. I'm basically trying to get him to understand what I can already see. He loved graphics since he started high school. He wants to continue doing graphics on the weekends, freelancing. He's still continuing doing graphics. That's what he wants to do. But for some weird reason, he wants to get a job doing Amazon sourcing. Like, nah, this isn't going to work. And hey, his Amazon sourcing job's going to pay him less than his graphic design work. I know where my priorities would lie if I was in his situation. So just wouldn't work out. And I'm not saying like it wouldn't work out, but it could be great, it could be fantastic. But for me, and my thing is to say it's not a yes, because there is too many things which are telling me that this guy doesn't understand, or I think he doesn't understand that actually he still wants to stay in graphics. Everything's telling me that. Now, if you want to know people who have been doing graphics design and they're saying, who I've interviewed in the past, they have come to me, or we've had an interview and they've literally been like, Tom, right now I'm just not making the money. I've got bills to pay. I've got a family to do it. I've been trying to find work and I'm just getting little bits of work. It's a real pain and I'm struggling. Like I'm genuinely struggling. So I need to get out of graphics. And when I hear that, then I'm like, okay, now I understand why. They've got bills, they've got commitments, they've got things that are going on, and they need a job, they need commitment, they need something that's going to pay them consistently every single month, and they're going to make that work. But for this guy, he doesn't. He earns good money, he's doing what he loves, and he still wants to keep doing it. So for him to make that change, I just don't see it happening. So it's a no. Nice guy, but just not right for the role we're hiring. Right, so what I'm going to say is, obviously I've got your CV. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you've done.
Well, I'm 28 years old already, and last year I just had my wedding. And yeah, so I have a bigger responsibility right now as a husband and the eldest son. And I really need this job because my father was sent to the hospital last year because he's having his weekly dialysis because of his kidney. Out of 100%, 5% is what is left to his kidney.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so every week my mom spends for around 7,000 pesos for his transplant. Yeah, that's true, and I'm very guilty on myself because I don't have any job, and my mom is the only one paying for our bills and for my father's medication. And that's why I'm doing my best. So hopefully I can get this job.
Hey, and I understand. Okay, so first things first. Sorry to hear about your father. I hope he gets better, and I hope everything gets sorted out. So I think, look, just if we talk a bit about your experience, on your CV, you've written kind of work experience, and I won't lie, it's really 2 lines. Like what you've done. Just the names of the jobs, really. So I think, look, your most recent job, do you want to tell me a bit about that? What you were doing and what kind of skills you learned?
When I started my virtual assistant career, when I was hired as an eBay and Amazon dropshipping. When you say dropshipping, my client focused more on selling the products through Amazon, but the products came from the eBay, and most of it we are using Zik Analytics and AutoDS. So we are finding products that has been sold for the first 30 days with a minimum of 5 sales, and the profit margin is 15%. So most of the time I list around 30 items per day. And the other one is email marketing, more on cold email. So we are promoting online games to our clients.
Okay, fine. So look, let's just talk that through. eBay product lister, full-time, part-time, the role?
Part-time.
Okay. How many hours a week?
40 hours a week.
40 or 14?
40 hours a week, but I was hired as full-time at first, but they cut me into part-time because they can't find any profitable products on eBay that time. So it's quite it's more on part-time. I was hired 2 months, only 2 months for full-time, and most of the months are already part-time.
And you were there, top of my head, 6 months?
Yeah.
So you were there 2 months part-time, 4 months full-time, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And quick question, were you finding the profitable products, or were they finding them and you're listing them?
We are the ones listing everything.
Okay,
because,
go on.
We are the ones using Zik, searching profitable products. We really depends on Zik Analytics.
Yep.
So it's up to us if we are going to list it or not. Because once you post the product on Google spreadsheet, there's already a computation on it, on the price. If you are going to put the price, there's already a calculation if there's a profit or not.
Okay. And you're responsible for checking, like finding the product that you're going to make profitable items, is that right?
Finding products, yes.
So, and hey, if I just be quite honest with you, it sounds like they hired you full-time in eBay. Mm-hmm. to find profitable products and then list them on Amazon to drop ship. Is that right?
Yes.
But because you couldn't find enough profitable items, they then put you down to part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And then why did you leave the job, or what happened?
They ended my contract because I was only hired for 6 months. Okay. So they didn't have the chance to continue my contract with them.
What did they say?
Well, because my previous client when I was working as an eBay and Amazon dropshipping is an Middle Eastern, so he already cut me off without confirming me about my job, and of course I'm clueless because I'm performing at my best before, but well, I don't know.
Well. And hey, obviously your client cut you off, but why do you think your client cut you off beforehand?
Well, he told me before that his account was bankrupt, and he doesn't have any money for to give me salary on the job that I'm working on. Okay.
And, I'm putting the pieces. I'm just trying to fit the pieces together, and it just for me. Hey, forgive me if I'm wrong, and I'm interested to get your thoughts. But what I'm reading between the lines here is that he hired you full time, 40 hours a week, and hey, and if I kind of explain why, the role we're doing is not drop shipping, but it's very similar. Like you go out, you find profitable products, and then we buy those products, we invest in them, and then we sell them, and we make enough money off them to cover your cost and make profit. So in effect, this guy, your client, then he's asking you to go out there, find profitable products on eBay, sell on Amazon, and obviously the profit from that is going to cover your cost and make him money. That's the foundation of business where we talk about employment. So what you've told me is that he hired you full-time, 40 hours a week, 2 months, and then he had to go down to part-time because they weren't making enough profit. And I would just throw that straight back and say that you're responsible for the profit you're making. And then 4 months later, he cut your contract. And if I read between the lines, it kind of sounds like you weren't making enough money for him to cover your costs. Because, hey, if you were, he wouldn't be getting rid of you. That's a fact. What would you say to that? Would that sound
For me,
true?
for me, no. Because we have a 6 team, we are 6 in the team,
Okay.
and all of us are Filipinos.
Yeah.
And she only all of our all of the boys in the team. He removed all the boys, and what remains is the 2 girls.
Okay.
So I don't know because the two girls are newly recruits on our team.
Okay.
And all of us are like we know what we are doing, and we are the ones telling them what to do. And time comes that our client just kick off.
So interesting enough, are you working directly or are you working through an agency?
Directly, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. All right. So, and then just talk me through before that. You're doing eBay. Is that right? Not eBay, email marketing. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a bit about that.
Email marketing, promoting online games. So our company has its own website. So all the messages and questions of the clients will be directed to our email. So after that, we are going to answer every calls, every emails and chats to our company and asking about the products. So it's up to us what kind of product we are going to promote to them. So it's more on commission based. It's not an hourly rate.
Okay, so it's commission only.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for example, you have sold $100 product, you can get 5% profit on it.
So you're doing affiliate. Is it affiliate marketing? Would you say? It's like affiliate marketing.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, fine. How did you find the test?
On this position, it's quite easy for me. For me, it's quite easy because the tutorial, the other is already there.
And how did you? Was it boring?
No.
If I put it in perspective, the test is very representative of the work that you'd be doing. Go to a store, copy and paste it into Amazon, work out the profit. Probably similar to eBay listing. But you are doing that every single day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. It's boring. It's really, really boring. I will not lie. How would you be with that?
For me, I don't think so because I've been there before. I've been listing 30 items per day, and it's to be honest, it's repetitive job. But for me, no, because I know how to. This is the kind of job that I need to appreciate, and this is the. I think this is the first stepping stone of my career.
Okay. Okay. Have you got any questions for me that you want to ask?
For now, none, sir, because I'm focusing on this, getting this job.
Okay. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You left eBay product listing March 2019. Is that right?
Yes.
How's it been since then?
Horrible. It's been horrible. Because first is that before my mom really depends on me too much. Because I'm the oldest and I have 3 brothers and they don't have any job. And my case before and also my mom is sick and she can't maintain his maintenance, and my father also. So I will be honest with you, my family is broke right now. And so I really need to have a job. So that I can help my parents again.
Okay. And you, just a quick question: where do you live?
Excuse me.
Where do you live in the Philippines? What area?
I'm here in Baguio City.
Okay. And so, quick question: are you only looking at online jobs, or what's the situation with employment for you?
It's quite hard finding jobs in here in online, especially on my case, which only focused on eBay and Amazon. So when I saw your post from online jobs, I didn't hesitate to apply right away.
Have you had any jobs since March 2019?
None, sir.
What about, I'm just going to put it out there, what about working locally? Like, I don't know, even if it's like earning 5,000 pesos a month working in a local supermarket or something.
No,
what
sir.
about that?
I don't plan working again locally because you cannot earn working here because like you are going to earn like $4 in a day, and then you are going to cost you for $3 a day, and you're going to take home $1 to your family, which is not really enough here in Nigeria. So I'd rather focus as a virtual assistant.
Okay.
So, you know.
Okay. Any questions you want to ask me before we finish?
Answer.
Okay, cool. Well, look, leave that with me. I've got quite a few interviews today. I will get back to you Monday, Tuesday next week, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Cool. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, interesting interview there. It's unfortunately it's quite a common thing that you might see when you're interviewing, in the fact that you have. I'm just kind of looking at my notes as well. That you would have VAs who've got family problems. You know, in the West, especially in Europe, we have free healthcare. We don't really think about it too much, but obviously you've got to pay for it. So it's a really big point. Now, his father is sick, his mother is sick. We eventually learned at the end, and he's got 3 brothers, and he's the eldest. And basically, and I feel for people in that situation. I really do. And then I kind of went on to a bit about like the jobs and understanding him. And my concern, I tried to spell it out to him, was the fact that he's got a client who's cut him off. But interesting enough, there's 6 of them, but 2 of the VAs have been kept on. But interesting enough, by his own admission, but he didn't accept it, was the fact that he'd hired 4 months and then they had to cut him down to part-time because he didn't have enough money. But interesting enough, he's responsible for making his own money, and then eventually let him go after 4 months. Kind of shows to me that he wasn't really working very hard, or I'm not saying he wasn't working hard, I couldn't say that, but say he wasn't delivering the results. It's not my place to say if he wasn't working hard, but if he's delivering the results, he's going to be good. If he isn't, then he isn't. You can see he's cutting off. And I tried to have that conversation with him, but he didn't kind of make that connection. And I'm not saying my connection's right, that's just what I'm seeing. But it was interesting that the client kept on the 2 VAs but didn't keep him on. And I'm always of the belief, and hey, if you're ever hiring an experienced VA, big question, why are you on the market? Because my God, if you're making the client money, you should know what you're doing. So look, and for me, and then it's kind of like email marketing beforehand. Actually, that was a commission only, and obviously he didn't do so well at that. He's got big gaps in CV. That was a year ago, effectively, that he had that job. Yes, he did well on our test, but I kind of came around and I asked. My question was, and before I kind of asked him about like jobs and what has happened since then, was, I'm just getting this feeling that this guy isn't, he's got a lot of problems at the moment, like family, he wants to take care of them, but he isn't putting the work in, he isn't making the effort. And if he's driven to make it work, my God, if someone put a gun to your head, you are going to move heaven and earth. So that was my feeling, and I'm not saying he isn't, because I can't say that, but I can only tell you what I feel from the interview. And that was my thought process. So I asked him the question very much around like, what's going on, why don't you even work locally? My God, if my family is like literally they can't afford to pay their bills, it doesn't matter if I go out and earn $4 a day and have to pay $3 in transport. $1 a day is better than no dollars a day, because it's money. It's going to make a big difference. And it's the decisions we make in life and how we affect us and what we do. So for me, it was kind of like, I just didn't feel like he was going to try. He was going to really push himself. And I didn't feel like if he got onto the academy, he's going to be the right candidate, because, hey, you know what? Yeah, he scored well in our test. Yeah, he can do it. And I don't question that. But I question the ability of whether he would consistently do it 3-6 months from now. And I just didn't feel from his past performance and what he'd done is that he would have that drive going forward. So he could perform, yeah, because we saw that in the test. But I don't think it would continue on. So for that reason, for me, it wasn't a yes. And if it's not a yes, it's a no. It could be a maybe, but it was a no. So nice chap, and I feel for him. But unfortunately, my client's got businesses to run, and they need people who can be really driven. So I just didn't feel it was right. But hey, let's do the next one. What I'll say is, just tell me a little bit about yourself and the work that you've done.
I don't have any experience yet as to online work from home. I'm new to it because since graduation I started working as a government employee, and some are from other private agencies. And my latest work experience was being a project development officer. But sadly, being in the government here in the Philippines, I have only a contract of service. We are only our contracts depend only on the funds if there are available funds. But through this experience, I have learned a lot. I can say that through making project proposals, implementation of the projects, we are also the ones, we are like one-man office. We are the ones preparing for the paperwork and the implementation and the liquidation. One of my past work experiences was being an administrative assistant to a board member. That's when I learned how to write letters, and it has improved me in the sense that I became more detail-oriented and efficient.
You wanting to go remote, working remotely, and how's it going at the moment?
At the moment, I am currently applying for other job openings at onlinejobs.ph, Upwork, and currently I am having some exams from other other companies where I applied.
Okay.
And still waiting for their response.
Okay. It's not easy, is it?
Yeah, it's not really easy. The transition is really somehow. It's like I have work experience in the office, but when you transition to online and remote work, it's like I am back to zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And and the people who tell you, hey, you should do this freelance remote thing, it's brilliant, it's great, and you're like, yeah, actually it's not as easy to get into as you think. Okay, fine. So look, I think the question which I'm trying to understand is very much around understanding why you want to do remote. Because if I'm right in thinking, do you have children, may I ask?
Yes, I have 2 kids.
Fantastic.
And they are both boys.
And how old are they?
They are 12 years old and 13 years old. I wanted to have a permanent job. I wanted to have a full-time job so I could support my family continuously. And that's why I wanted to shift to remotely working, because I know it can give me more experience. It can help me improve more. In my communication, in my writing, in my ability to deliver work that I am asked for. And most importantly is that I wanted to find where I really belong. Okay. And to permanently work for it until the rest of my life, if I am happy in the company where I could be for the remote work.
But hey, the question I'd ask you is, you could work in an office job around the corner from you and feel that you belong there and work there for the rest of your life and find that that's the best place and that's what you want. I still don't understand why remote work. Why not a job locally?
A remote work because, here in the Philippines it's hard to find a job that is permanent. Okay. And frankly speaking, if you don't know someone in the government, no one will give you a contract that is permanent. So usually contracts are just for 6 months, good for 1 month. And I'm already 38 years old. Yep. And mostly offices here hires those that are younger than me. And supposed to be at this age, I already have a permanent work in the government.
Okay. So question for you, and I don't know if you understand, and it's more, should we say, just talking around, is to say that while, and I'm not saying me, but I'm saying any remote work, while you might have a contract with them, doesn't mean that it's going to last for lifetime. They could at any point say, sorry, we're going to let you go, and you're gone. And if I be really honest with you, I've interviewed literally 10 minutes ago someone who worked for a client who literally called them up on one day and said, sorry, you're now finished. Not because the VA had done anything wrong, but because their business wasn't able to continue their employment. I need to be very crystal clear with you in saying that if I'm correct in thinking, your understanding for wanting to do remote is because you're worried about having a permanent job. And there is no permanent job in remote work.
Yes, actually, there is really no permanent job in remote work, but we have a vast of customers, we have a vast of companies out there in different platforms who are looking for an employee. And as compared to local, we only have limited job vacancies that could fit our skills. Remote work is most possible that I can find a job, even if a client already terminated or our contract is already terminated, and then I know I can still find an employer out there.
Okay. Hey, I understand. And hey, look, the reason why I say that is I don't want you to think about doing online jobs because you're thinking there's a permanent base in it. I don't want to mislead you or make you have, faith in something which doesn't exist. The reality of the situation is that yes, there are a lot more jobs, so there are a lot more applicants online, but it doesn't mean that they're any more permanent than anything else. There's a general rule of thumb: if you do a very good job, you're going to find work. You won't have a problem. Okay, fine. So can I ask, how was the test for you?
Actually, I find it addicting.
Addicting? Wow, that's not a word that I would associate with it.
I enjoyed doing the test.
Okay.
Right after I did the exercise, I learned to adjust, and I learned to enjoy doing it. Going to Amazon, opening the link. I enjoy the rest of the test. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And hey, what I would say is, I'll be really honest with you, is the fact that the test, i.e., go to like Walmart or UK store, go find the same product in Amazon, and then work out the profit and the margin. That is really representative of the work that you're going to be doing, in the job. And if I had to say, 98% of the time you are going to be doing exactly that and only that. It's boring. It's not fun. It's like sometimes like, oh my God, I would never want to do this. How would you feel about doing that?
Actually, I'm thinking, what if this is all that I'm doing for 8 hours a day? That will be, I think that will be very tiring also, because you're just doing a process.
Yeah.
You're just repeating the process itself. So it would be kind of boring, but I'm used to some employers that they have this job description, but I know we will perform others that is asked of us as an employee. So that is expected.
And hey, and that's why I'm asking you the question, because I want to be honest with you and to say that 98% of that role is doing that. That is that. There is a little bit more to it, but if I had to make it honest, 98% of it is find something, copy, paste it into Amazon, check, no, carry on. When it meets the criteria, you do a little bit more, but when it doesn't, it does that. And you are doing that, put it in perspective, you're doing that process twice a minute, you are doing that 8 hours a day, so twice a minute, that's 120 times an hour, and then you're doing it 8 hours a day, and then you're doing it 5 days a week. That's a lot of copy pasting that isn't the most fun thing in the world.
Well, for me, that's okay. There is no job that is easy.
Okay.
Every job entails, something that we should. Any job is, every. Wait, I'm just.
No, you're right. Hey, no problem.
I cannot think straight. But because for me, any job is important, and there is no such easy job. What's important is that we have work, because actually right now I don't have one, and it's really hard and it's difficult.
And hey, I understand. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Are there any questions you want to ask me?
regarding the work, are we really given the link? The link where we could source the product, or
no, you are told roughly where to go, and then you do it from there. But if I had to say you're doing 500-700 links a day, yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Other questions. If ever I am hired, sir, do I need to work from 8 o'clock, or that would?
Generally speaking, they're quite flexible in their hours. So, yeah, they have training is fixed, but after that, it's flexible in the hours. But we would confirm that with the job offer to you, what the hours would be and the flexibility in that and how that works.
Okay, sir.
Cool. Any other questions you want to ask me?
No, I don't have any questions anymore.
Fantastic. Right. What I will say is I've got quite a lot of interviews to go through. So,
okay.
Leave that with me. I'll be back in contact with you Monday or Tuesday, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sir. Sir, how many product sourcer will you hire?
This round, probably 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, quite a few.
I hope I have the chance.
Okay, fine, cool.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, you take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
My thoughts were, number one, no remote experience, so let's kind of delve around that. And I really wanted to understand why she wanted remote experience or remote work. The big kind of question comes very much around why do they want to work remote? Why don't they want a normal job like working in a local office? She kind of talked through that, and I can kind of understand, but also I kind of delve quite a bit into about the permanent or the nature of the fact that remote work isn't permanent and it has no job security. But I can understand the fact that there's more employers, so that was fine. I was going to delve into more around what are her costs, how much did she need to do, but interesting enough, we kind of went into the test, and I wanted to find out about that first. And when she went into the test, she then basically talked about the copy and paste nature of the work and how boring it would be, and immediately it's just flagging red flags. So it's kind of saying, look, I'm not interested, I'm the copy and paste nature of the work isn't going to be right for me. In our work, it's very much like, this is what you're going to be doing, and you're going to be doing it every day. And when I interview you, I'm kind of really looking to say, I'm probably looking for you initially to say, yes, this is something that I'm really happy with doing. I'm not expecting you to just go, yeah, oh my God, but yeah, I'm quite happy. And then number 2 is the fact that I'm quite interested in you being able to recall a time in the past when you've done something similar, and that's going to be relevant, because that means that not only are you telling me what I probably want to hear, but you are giving me an example of when you've done that in the past, and that's going to be really useful for me to go, okay, yeah, I can understand how you can do that. So, but for her, she wasn't talking about the time when she's done that. And interestingly enough, one of my concerns, and not so much concerns about her, because she seems a really nice person, I really liked her, and I kind of felt for her, she worked for the government and it hasn't really worked out as well, was the fact that she's done so much in the government, and you can't see her CV, but I can. She's done so many different skills, so many different things, and that, moving from that, lots of skills into just doing copy and paste, I don't think she would be fulfilled. I don't think she would enjoy it. And what I was really trying to look for in my questioning and my answers of her was to understand, is this going to be the right job for her? As much as I'm looking for someone to do it, I'm looking to understand if they are going to enjoy what they're doing, because you know what, if they're not going to enjoy it, they're not going to stay, and I'm going to have to go through this whole process again. So this is very much a two-way process. As much as me looking for someone to do the job, I want to know and I want to feel comfortable that they're going to want to do the job and it's going to be right for them and it's going to work. So the moment she started talking about not enjoying it, and then even she referenced to something like, hey, it might not be the most fun in this, but I need a job and I'm happy to do it, then that starts flagging more alarm bells. And if you're thinking, hey, well, she needs a job, I just want to hire it to her, the question I'd always ask is, yeah, she might do it, she might do this job, and she might stay with you because she can't find a better job elsewhere. But the real question is she going to excel? Is she going to do a really good job at this? And if I put it in perspective with our sources, those who are really good will do a really good job, But those who aren't really interested and find it a bit boring but just need it for a job, their performance is, and if I put it in perspective, maybe 1/3 of what the top performers are. And that's massive. That's literally like having 3 bottom performers equals 1 top performer. Like, you cannot understand the significance of finding someone who is actually going to enjoy what you're doing. And this is when I say it's not just about you hiring, it is also about you finding someone who's going to want to do your job, because if they want to do it and they enjoy it and they get on, they're going to be worth 3 times as much as the person who isn't. So it's a two-way process. So for me, unfortunately, she would be a no, and hence why I didn't kind of ask the next questions, because there's no real need to. I just said, look, let's finish the interview here. I didn't need to tell her right there and then, but I will pass it back and say no. But for me, she's just not right for the role. So I think it'd be a no from my side. But hey, a little bit of feedback there. Where have I put it? My God, I think I've lost your CV. No, honestly, I do have it, and it is here somewhere. You can probably tell it's quite a relaxed interview. It's not particularly formal. It's very just conversational. So, okay, found it. Got a copy of your CV. Thank you very much. Let's begin. Tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, I'm a mother of 3. I'm married, but when it comes to work, they're okay because my youngest is 5, and she's well. she doesn't bother me every time I work, and but when she was younger, yeah, she bothers me, but she's fine now. And my 2 eldest, the eldest one is in high school, junior. And the other one, my other daughter is in grade 5. So my youngest is in kinder level.
So how many children did you say you have?
I have 3.
3, not a problem. Sorry, I just heard 12 then. I was like, oh my God, that's got
No.
Age 12.
No, I only have 3. Yeah. And my husband comes home every weekend. I work in my bedroom. I have this small station where I can do my stuff, and pretty much that's it. And I've been working in the home-based setup since September 2015, so that's almost 4 years now. I started as like full-time programs coordinator with one of the coaching business company based in Australia, in Melbourne particularly, and from there on I handled I had other roles as well for that 4-year span of being a VA. And the reason why I think the reason why I was able to do well in my in the Amazon or in the exam was because I had experience with Amazon Central, wherein I enter orders manually and of course schedule them for shipping, as well as last December I accepted a project-based job wherein we are going to manually send review requests to each of the products, and so I'm familiar with the ASIN and navigating the Amazon website and of course Seller Central.
Okay, fantastic. And just talk me through. So your last job, June 2018, February 2020. Is that right?
Yes, just recently.
Okay. And what happened there? Was that remote? Was it?
Yes, it's also a remote collection specialist for a real estate project management company in the U.S. Thing is, you do everything in there. You take calls. And do emails, text messages. Of course, your main role is to make sure that your collections, you are able to collect the rental payments for those houses that we manage, and keep an eye on those, of course, going delinquent with their accounts.
Okay. And obviously you've left. Are you working there still?
I'm now looking for a non-voice job, because most of the time I have sore throat, so it's not really good for me to take calls most of the time.
Okay. And, if you don't mind me asking, this role is non-voice, non-client facing, or customer facing, should we say? But I just want to delve into it. Is there like a problem with your throat, or what's the situation?
No, it's like recently I had incidents of two sore throats in a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you do collections, of course, majority of the time you're going to accept incoming calls and do outbound calls as well.
Okay. And so it's quite difficult, I assume. Is that right?
Yes. It's a bit difficult.
So, a quick question for you: why did you finish that job?
I told my boss that I would try to find for a non-voice account or a non-voice job first, just for me to somehow rest myself when it comes to voice jobs. I mean, taking calls. Yeah, as advised as well by the doctor.
Okay.
Because it's a graveyard shift as well, so most of the time you lack sleep. So there.
Yeah, that's fine. Is that a big issue for you? Because you've done them for what? My God, 1.5 years? A bit longer than that,
Yeah,
haven't you?
most, yeah. Going 2 years.
Wow, long time. Okay.
Yeah.
Just talk me through so that was June 2018. You finished February 2020. You've obviously before that you were Future Brands, is that right?
Yeah, it was just a project base. It was just for a month. They just needed help in sending out reviews, product reviews for those to customers.
So it's a quick question for you. Your job before, the one, graveyard shift America debt collection, that is full time. I'm guessing
Yes.
40 hours a week. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And then at the same time, you took on a project-based work with Future Brands doing collection, reviews. Is that right?
Flexible time.
So, quick question: why did you take on the second job? What was the reason behind that?
It's for me to. It's because it's just a month. I wanted to have the experience with Amazon, because right now e-commerce is the main market in the virtual assistant world, and of course having an experience with Amazon is a big factor, especially when you're applying for e-commerce companies, something like that. So, and it was my friend who referred me to that company. That's why I took it, and it was just for a short time. It was just for a month project.
The reason why I ask is I'm always if someone's working full time and then they take on another role, I just always question why.
It's an additional income as well for us, aside from the experience, of course.
Like, how many hours a week are you working for Future Brands?
For that one, 8.
8 hours a week.
8 hours a day.
Okay, 8 hours a day. That's a big difference.
A day, sorry.
Okay.
It's a day.
So, and if I just clarify, how many days a week are you working on Future Brands?
5.
Okay.
Monday to Friday.
So if I clarify here, you're working your last job full time, graveyard, and then you're working full time as well.
Yes, in the morning.
You got 2 full time jobs, 3 children, and husband works away. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What does your husband do?
He's a government employee.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing he's been doing that for a long time.
Yes, he's been in that company for 15 years, I think.
Oh wow, long time.
Yeah.
Has he got a permanent contract, or is he on like the 1 year, 2 year contracts?
Permanent.
So he's on the lucky ones.
Yes.
Okay. So question for you is it takes a lot of effort to work 2 jobs full time.
Right.
Especially when one's graveyard shift, and especially with 3 children. I'll never deny that. Why? Why do it?
Because during that time I need to earn a bit, because it's been like 2 years ago, since we had a situation wherein our income really went down, and so we had to do double time when it comes to earning, so that we could, somehow pay for some of our debts. And my mom recently had just a heart surgery, and so, and I'm the only child, so it's really a tough situation, and that's why I had to do that.
Yeah, and hey, I understand, and I think it's really good, what you've done. Like, my God, like I'm a guy, so we live an easy life. Life is hard as a mother, but to have to do graveyard shift full time and then another full time job on top of that, and then obviously all the other stuff while your husband's not even at home, like that takes real effort. So I take my hat off to you. Well done. How was the test?
It was quick. It was perfectly fine. It was I think like an easy job to do, I would think. I can say, because I've experienced it.
I want to be honest with you. I want to be really, really honest. The test is very representative of the work. If I were to put it in perspective, 98% of what you're going to be doing 8 hours a day, 5 days a week will be that. It's boring. How would you feel about that?
I can play music
while
I'm doing a job. I feel better if I play music while I'm working.
Any questions you want to ask me?
Maybe my question is, this is a long term, right? It is. Okay.
Any other final questions?
For now, I'm good.
Fine, fantastic. Okay, actually, really interesting interview there. Quite enjoyed it. Like, really friendly, bubbly person. Got to know about her, who she was, what she's done. Got a lot of remote experience. I really enjoyed that. If you probably noticed, I delved quite a bit into, I have a limited amount of time, and I'm overrunning already. I'm already into the next time, and I shouldn't be. I kind of delved into, what the work she'd done, why she'd quit, but also the other job and how much she's earning and what's the thing, what's the reason behind that. And look, I talk about this all the time. This is as much about me wanting to hire them as them understanding if this is going to be right for them. And I really delved into pay, money, expectations, is it going to work? And I want to be realistic. I don't want these VAs to work for a client of mine and then in 2 months' time go quit because I found a better paying job. Like, it's got to work. But also they're understanding why are they having to take a pay cut or do something different. Interestingly enough, I know the client who's going to be working, who I'm thinking for this VA, and I know what he's after in regards to his work. We've had that conversation already, and it's not only about them just doing the job and getting it done. He's got other plans, what he wants to do, and interesting enough, I think she'd be a really good fit. I think the fact that her other experience is going to really help. She's really good, conversationally. She seems like she just gets stuff done, which is really great. And interesting enough, I know the client isn't just looking for a sourcing VA, they're looking for someone to do a lot more. So I think this VA, she could be really good with the client who's looking to hire. And hey, look, we had she told me a lot about her and what her situation was, and financially and family and everything, and been through some tough times, but I really liked her. I thought she was a great person. I understood her story. I got on well with her, very genuine, and if she was in my team, I'd be very happy. So and I had to delve a lot into the salary expectations because that was a biggie, but I think we kind of threw that around, and she's got a clear expectation of what to expect. So yeah, I'm quite happy with her responses. So for me, I would take her on, and just have that conversation with her. I would always be very mindful in the future, and like ongoing expectations is to ask her a lot around her family, what's going on, and understand her expenses, because that's going to be a huge deciding factor for her in regards to how her life is performing, and also as well what she looks for in work. So my only worry or my only concern would be that if her expenses go up, she might start looking for another job to work in addition to the job that I'm willing to offer her. So I need to be very mindful of that. And from my point of view, personally, I don't really like my VAs having 2 jobs because their performance starts to suffer. 8 hours a day is quite hard. 16 hours a day, very hard. So I'm just mindful of that. So let's see, and hey, if we can get her performing really well, maybe there might be a bonus scheme, etc., etc. We never know. That's my feedback. First things first is I've got a copy of your CV, so what I say, just tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
I had been in the customer service industry for the past 3 years. My most recent experience has been handling incoming calls in the telecommunication industry. At the same time, after my full-time job, I work part-time. It's like as a virtual assistant in the real estate industry.
Right, so your most recent job finished November 2019?
Yes.
You were there what? How long were you there for?
Like 1 year and 6 months, I think.
Oh, okay. And is that remote or were you on site for them?
It's an office base. It's a BPO office.
Okay, cool. And then quick question for you is you were there a year and 6 months roughly. Why did you leave?
I wanted to work at home because it's more convenient. And I don't need to travel going to work. I want to continue and make work full time as a home based.
How long did it take you to get into work every day?
It's like 1 hour.
Okay.
It's really traffic.
You're Davao, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I remember going from Davao Airport to Davao Central, and it was like,
yeah, it's really traffic.
And actually, 1 hour is pretty good in the Philippines. Okay, fine. So you were doing, and I'm guessing, was that like graveyard shift or was that daytime?
Yes, a great job.
Graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, and then just talk me through before that. If I'm looking through, you've done virtual assistant online. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now I've got here dates January 2018 to December 2019, so roughly 2 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So just tell me about that. Tell me a bit about that job.
It's a real estate company, or it's a agency. I currently, as a virtual assistant, I currently provide many services for my clients, including document preparation, maintaining files, and record keeping and research. So it's like skip tracing and then cold calling.
Good question. You're full-time, part-time?
From the year of 2018, like January to June, I worked full-time. When I got the job in IBEX, I work part-time.
Okay. And how many hours a week would you do in West Real Estate Group?
For full-time, it's from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then when I work part-time after my work in IBEX, it's 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Hey, why did you do that? Why didn't you just stay working? Why did you get the other job? My God, you're working daytimes. People love that.
Sometimes I only have 2 tasks. I don't really earn so much at that time. So that's why I decided to work in IBEX for full time.
So can I clarify, just in West Real Estate Group, they're paying you per hour, not per like a fixed
per
salary?
hour.
Fine, okay. So why did you continue working with West Real Estate Group? Why didn't you just say, cool, IBEX, I'm happy, finished?
I want to continue working at home, and at the same time, that's what I said, it's more convenient for me to work at home, and I am more focused when I'm working at home. I have lots of time, spending time with my family and friends.
How does spending time with family and friends make you more focused?
Yes, because it's while we were working, because here in the Philippines, working at home, it's more. What I mean is, when I'm in the office, it's kind of toxic. You can't focus in your job, and yeah, that's the reason why I just wanted to work at home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. You've left West Real Estate Group, haven't you?
Yes, last December.
Well, why?
Because once I get a new job, I wanted to, work full time. I don't want to. Actually, right now I'm still getting tasks, but once I got this, job, I want to to work full time with this position. I don't want to work at the same time. I want to focus in one job only.
Why?
So I can be focused in this task.
So let me put it in perspective. Most people will have two jobs because they're earning more money. But at the end of the day, why do we work? Because we want money. Obviously, we might have some spare time, we're a bit bored, but most of us don't have the luxury of, I've got more money than I need, so I'm going to get a job to have fun and meet people. You're going to be sat at home doing something. So most people will get two jobs because they want the money. So my question to you is you've currently got one job, you're looking to get a full-time job, another job, and then you're looking to leave. And you say, so I can focus on one job, but that isn't a reason why. If it's like, I want to focus to learn how to play the guitar, I can understand that. Because that's something that's personal to you. But because you can focus on one job, my God, no one does that.
I think when I become expert in this position and I can manage my job, I think I will, accept more tasks from.
You accept less or more tasks?
More tasks.
Okay, so when you become expert, so let's say, for example, right now, when I offer you, let's say, for example, today I go, hey, you know what? Congratulations. I really love you. I want to get you a job. Cool, fantastic. So you start tomorrow with me, and then 6 months down the line, you are now expert with me. Is that right? Follow me?
Yes.
So then, if I'm right in thinking, you then have a quick conversation with, I'm an expert at what I'm doing in my other job. Do you want me to take on some more work with West Real Estate? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I want to earn, as you mentioned, I want to earn more money.
How was the test?
Yeah, it's really easy, and it's just that I just need to be more careful in the details, but I enjoyed it.
Okay. And hey, look, I'll be honest, the test is very representative of the work you'll be doing. It's copy, paste, all the time. 98% of the time it's copy paste. That's it. It's not huge. How would you feel about that?
That's okay. I'm more on repetitive tasks. I'm used to it.
Okay. Okay. Any questions you want to ask me?
None for now.
Okay, fine, right. Okay, so what I'll say is I've got a lot of interviews. I will let you know Monday, Tuesday next week. And then what I'll do from there is I'll most likely Monday or Tuesday, I'll drop you an email, or my colleague will, and then we'll say, obviously, whether you've been successful, if you've been unsuccessful. Make sense?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right, interesting interview there. Now, I started that off and I was quite like, cool, CV looks good, lots of VA experience, I quite like this. Interestingly enough, it's not Amazon based, and I'm not too worried about that. I can just kind of see consistency across lots of different jobs. We've got like 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 months. I'm not looking at consistency in his work, although most recently he's had 2 jobs for 2 years. And that was really interesting for me. Now, I kind of started off, and if I just kind of talk you through, I started off very much talking about, telling about the jobs, what are you doing, when did you quit. I also went through a little bit about like what happened, because again, it's about understanding. I want to understand why they're doing these decisions. I want to get in their head and what's going on. And my big question around him was, a lot of these kind of conversations around money. Why do you want a job? What are you doing? Is this job going to work for you? That's it. That's the question I'm going to ask, is going, are you going to like this job? And is it going to work for you? Because if it's going to work for you and your environment, then fantastic. Now, if you don't know, I hire for clients, I hire for their businesses. And the one big kind of red flag I have is that I'm not a big fan of hiring a VA who wants to have another job or has already got another job. If they've already got a full-time job and they want to take on another full-time job, i.e. mine or my client's one, the answer is just no. Like, I'm not interested at all. Sometimes I'll just flat out and say, sorry, I'm not interested in hiring you because you've got 2 full-time. Interesting enough, this VA has got he is working, part-time, and then he had a full-time, which he's left, and now he wants another full-time job. I kept questioning around, like, why do you want this job? And his answer was, so I can focus. I'm like, well, that isn't an answer. That's just something you're telling me. Like, that doesn't, I don't believe what you're saying, and it is not an answer. It's just something. And eventually we kind of delved a bit more, and he said, look, so I can earn more money, and we kind of got to the amount he wants to earn. And my thoughts behind it is that he's got one part-time job, he's got another job. There's a real danger in that I see, and I talk about red flags, is the fact that a lot of the work that we do, we have a client and we give them flexible hours. Or they offer flexible hours, i.e. they want their VA to come and work, and they give them flexibility, and that's great. Now, when a VA says to me that they've got another part-time job and we eventually get it out of them, that they want to keep that part-time job, and then they want to work my full-time job or my client's full-time job and then that part-time job, there's a real danger that this VA is going to work 2 hours in my client and then some time with the other part-time job, because you know what, they could be earning per hour extra and they're clocking in but not really doing anything, and it's a real danger. Like, they might be okay for the first few months, and after that it's just going to deteriorate. So, and I'm not saying this guy is going to do that, but what I need to try and understand is I'm reducing that risk down. I'm making that impact, and I'm trying to understand, is this person likely to do it? And you know what? We delved in, we questioned, we challenged, and we got to the point whereby he said to me, I'm going to keep this job because I want to earn more money. So I'm going to go, Tom, I want your job, and I want this part-time job because I want to earn more money, and I want to get better, because once I'm an expert, then I don't have to do so many hours. And I'm like, hey man, this ain't the way it works. This is, my client hires you for 8 hours a day. Now, whether you're a beginner or an expert, you're still working 8 hours a day. That's it. It's not like, oh, now I'm an expert, I can work 6 hours because I'm now doing it in less time. No. We train you up, we pay all this money, we keep paying you while you're not an expert, so that because we understand that when you're an expert, you're then going to be delivering us so much more. It's not we get an average level of experience, we get top performance. And the big challenge I always have with VAs, and I'm not saying there's nothing bad about them, they want to earn money, and hey, we all do. Interesting how Filipino people are very happy to work 2 jobs, that's quite normal. But the question comes is it right for me as a hiring agency to hire someone for a client's business when I know, or I have a doubt in my mind, that potentially they might go and get another job on the side and try and work that in with the flexible time that my employer asks? Well, generally speaking, I don't think that's right. So I say no. I literally red flag, draw a line, not a problem. I say no. But the reason why we have that flexible is it works really well for mothers. They've got to take kids to school, stay-at-home parents. It gives that flexibility. And you know what? It's those people who do add real value. They get up to doing their 8 hours a day. They become a real expert. They add real value because they really appreciate the flexibility their job's got, and they want to keep it. So we'd much rather hire those people. Now, I'm not saying I look for single mothers, not at all. We literally don't even discriminate, or we don't do anything other than your test results. But once you get your test results, then I'm trying to understand who you are as a person. And once I understand who you are as a person, I can understand if I think this job's going to be right for you, and if I think you are going to be right for my client. And if you are, fantastic. If you're not, no. Interesting interview. Hopefully you have found that interesting. Now, let's just put it in perspective. I will pretty much do that every single week. That is, I probably produce 6 hours a week of interviewing. And, the big part of it is we can all look at a CV, we can all kind of have a conversation with someone, but the big part of it is really trying to understand who are these people, what are they about, what's their life story, where are they now, what's their why, what is their why? And I talked about it during a couple of these interviews, is saying it's as much about me interviewing them to say, can they do the job? Is to say, do I believe the job is right for them? And do they know it or do they not? So hopefully you've seen some of the interviewing that I've done, some of the questions that I've done, and also just how I conduct them. I'm very relaxed, I'm very chilled, I want to put them at ease, I want to get the most out of them. I'm not here to tell them if they're going to be right or wrong for my job. there is no right or wrong. It's just my interpretation, and that's what I do every single week. I will be sitting here. I will interview numerous candidates. I'll learn about the market, but also as well, I'm trying to find those diamonds in the rough. I'm trying to find those great people who are going to work for my clients. Now, there are some CVs or some candidates who I've hired for one client that I'd never hire for another client, just because they're in different places. And actually, it's about not only finding a VA who can work for the client, who can, should we say, source efficiently, but also as well is going to work for that business. They're going to get on with that client. We're about as much finding good sources as about making matches for the people who are asking us to find them VAs. So that is a super important skill set that I can bring to any process. Hopefully you have found that information useful. Give me a thumbs up if you do. It just means you like this content. And hey, if you're maybe looking at hiring a VA, have a look down below. I'll drop a couple of links, like online jobs. That's where we do the hiring, and a lot of these candidates, or all these candidates, have come from. And then also as well, maybe you've got some questions, maybe you've got trouble with VA, or maybe you're like, hey Tom, I don't understand why you didn't hire this VA or something. Drop it down below, and obviously I'll get back to you. But for me, Thomas Parkinson at Fast Track FBA, thank you very much.